She hired her romantic partner as a top prosecutor in Georgia's Trump election meddling case. A judge is expected to set a February court date to hear those arguments. Steve Harrigan following the story live in Atlanta. Hi, Steve.
Dana, that drama certainly is heating up here in Georgia. The judge in charge of the election interference case here has said there will be a hearing as early as February to look into the possible relationship between the Fulton County DA, Fani Willis, and a prosecutor she hired, Nathan Wade, to see if there was anything improper there and whether the DA benefited from that relationship financially as well.
You've given $654,000 to somebody who is your romantic partner. You didn't disclose that. There were points in this case where you had special grand juries and other things that extended the amount of time to bring the case that also financially benefited him. And a person looking at the case might wonder, did you make those decisions to benefit your romantic partner? Even if she would have made the same decisions otherwise, that's an actual conflict of interest.
So
Absolutely.
far, Willis has neither confirmed nor denied that there was a relationship between the two. She also said the accusations are racially motivated.
Yep.
Now, there is going to be a hearing later this month. Wade is going through a divorce. Several media companies are trying to get those divorce records unsealed to see if there is evidence of a relationship. But even if there is one, it's not clear that's going to be enough to remove Willis. But it certainly does give a lot of firepower to those who say the former president's prosecution is politically motivated. Dana, back to you.
Steve Harrigan, thank you.
So it looks like, folks, they're going to be opening an investigation, have a trial into the improper conduct of Fani Willis and the finances. That ought to be good, folks. That can only help Trump's case. Maybe she will get disbarred, or at best, or to be kicked off the case just for the way she's handled this whole situation. I have to believe that most of these Trump cases are going to fall by the wayside in the next 6 months, according to how the Supreme Court ruled on a couple of them, and according to just how these things play out. But I do believe most of this is just about making Trump look bad, more than it's about actually knowing they can get him on any of these fictitious crimes. Now let's go ahead and get into what Jamie Dimon said. I thought this was really an interesting thing to say, coming from a major Democrat donor. So J.P. Morgan CEO and Democrat donor Jamie Dimon defends Trump and Maga, calls out Democrats for demonizing millions of Americans. Democrats need to grow up.
I think it's a mistake to assume that everything's hunky-dory. And, and when stock markets are up, it's kind of like this little drug we all feel. Like, it's just great, But remember, we've had so much fiscal and monetary stimulation. So I'm a little more on the cautious side, that we are facing a lot of things in 24 or 25. And we mentioned Ukraine, the terrorist activity in Israel, the Red Sea, quantitative tightening, which I still question if we understand exactly how that works. I don't think we do. How QE actually worked, what the effect of negative, zero rates was for all this time, and obviously the politics, and and then the Ukrainian war is affecting oil, gas, food, migration. So you have all these very powerful forces that are going to be affecting us in 24 and 25. So if I was the government, I would be preparing for what I'm going to do about that, assuming things aren't good. And I just also want to point out, I wish the Democrats would think a little more carefully when they talk about Maga. And if you travel this country, and the country's unbelievable. We took our bus trip this year, and Leslie Picker was on Spokane and Boise and Bozeman. People are growing. They're hungry to grow. They're innovating. It's everywhere. It's not just Silicon Valley. So we've got this great hand. But when people say MAGA, they're actually looking at people voting for Trump, and they think they're voting, and they're basically scapegoating them, that you are like him. But I don't think they're voting for Trump because of his family values. Now, if you look, just take a step back, be honest. He was kind of right about NATO, kind of right about immigration. Mm-hmm. He grew the economy quite well.
China virus.
Tax reform worked.
There it is.
He was right about some of China. I don't like what he did.
No, I said China virus.
Yeah, I understand. He may have been right. And I don't like how he said things about Mexico. I don't like, but he wasn't wrong about some of these critical issues. And that's why they're voting for him. And I think people should be a little more respectful of our fellow citizens.
That's right.
And when you guys have people up here, you should always ask the why. Not like it's a binary thing. You're supporting Trump, you're not supporting Trump. Why are you
It's hard
supporting
to hate
Trump?
75 million of your fellow Americans. And
I agree.
It's done criminal.
And, the Democrats have done a pretty good job with the deplorables,
Right.
hugging onto their Bibles and their beer and their guns. I mean, really? Like, could we just stop that stuff and actually grow up and treat other people with respect and listen to them a little bit? And I do think the economy will affect, and I think this negative talk about MAGA is going to hurt Biden's election campaign.
I just want to ask you back to the 34 trillion that we got, because it seemed like when rates were going up and we thought the Fed was going to keep going higher for longer, it looked like some of that was coming home to roost because the auctions weren't going well. It's like, wow, debt service is much more expensive. This is going to hurt. Suddenly the pat answer is, wow, we're already through that. Rates are coming down again. So the 34 trillion suddenly is okay again, and I don't think it works that way.
Yeah, I think people are making a mistake. I think it is going to come to bite. That could be in 3 years or 5 years or 7 years. I think it may very well bite in the markets way before that, because the market makers don't have because of regulations, don't have the capability to make markets like you used to. So we can easily handle it, but we're restricted by all these rules. And you're absolutely correct. If my numbers are right, in 1980, debt to GDP was 35%. We spent 5% of the deficit because of recession. Now debt to GDP is 100%. The deficit's 6%, and it's in a boom time. And of course, it feels pretty good because we spend all that money. It seems to be working. I think governments are starting to feel omnipotent, and central banks. I'd be much more cautious about that.
I agree with him 100%. The governments need to be a little more careful with our financial situation, our economy, because at the rate other countries are going, our American dollar is being devalued, not just by our own government, not just by Joe Biden destroying our energy independence, but by the rest of the world deciding to go to other currencies and basically cut us out. And when America doesn't have the American dollar is not the recognizable in every country of the world as the top-notch currency, then we will have fallen. Our trade value will have shrank, and that is a fact. But I do like what he did have to say. Very smart man. I don't know how he ever became a Democrat, but he's right. All us deplorables out there, what did we do besides want better things for our country? To be treated so bad, to be censored so much, to be name-called so much, because we love Trump, because we love our country, because we call out the craziness for what it is, wrong, evil, and crazy. We ain't got to go through all that name-calling stuff on our end, even though it is fun sometimes, but like things of the media is probably the biggest problem. When the media calls people like Trump dictator, fascist, white supremacist, antichrist, all in the same day, it's really disheartening. But I'm glad people are starting to speak up, speak out. I hope more people in positions like this guy here who actually have a voice get up and say just that very thing. MAGA is not evil. What the socialists are trying to do to our country is the real evil. That's all I got for you folks. Everybody have a great day. Like, subscribe, and share. Over and out.